Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. We got a lot of requests lately for more ROCD videos. This video specifically isn't going to be so much about the meat and potatoes of ROCD, but it's going to be more of a philosophical reality video breaking down love and why love isn't what most people think it is, why unfortunately most of the advice on YouTube, social media, Instagram accounts, giving you tips and tricks about how to know when you're in love, whether you have ROCD or not, is really problematic since there's no universal principle of love, and that looks different from person to person, culture to culture, time period to time period. It's just not objective in the way that most people think it is. So the first thing I want to talk about is, well, before I go into that, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, please comment down below. We've been getting some great engagement on our videos. The sensory motor one I just did got like 40 comments in 1 or 2 days, which is great. I love to talk to people, just talk about, anything, not even just OCD all the time. So I want to talk about this book. This book is in the series with the How to Stubbornly Refuse series. So you have How to Stubbornly Refuse, which is the first book on the reading list. And then a book that's not on the reading list that I recommend a lot for people I work with, which is How to Control Your Anger Before It Controls You. Another one is Control Your Anxiety Before It Controls You, and How to Keep People from Pushing Your Buttons. I haven't read the bottom two, but I will. But this book right here is terrific. So Stop Destroying Your Relationships. It's just like the first book on the reading list, but I think there's really good practical takeaway examples based on relationships in this book. Now, this book is really, really emotive and really helps you break down from a disputing standpoint on these irrational beliefs that really hold people back in their lives. Now, there's a great YouTube video titled How to Stop the Dire Need for Love or something. I believe it was a 1990 something talk by Ellis. It's an hour and a half. Highly recommend you watching that. Breaks down in a funny way. The reason why I liked Ellis so much is because of the way that he would be able to communicate with people. His communication skills were really good when it came to being punchy and funny and also giving practical examples. Many people give practical examples, but they don't actually deliver the material in my opinion, a good way, because this is something I had to work on a lot. I would very easily get off topic, but I didn't let that stop me. And I would say, how could I structure this to make my videos more meaningful and yet still be funny? And, adding these basically outlines before I'd go into these topics really helped a lot. So this book right here is key. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is what is ROCD. Now, it's important to realize that it's called relationship OCD and not intimate relationship OCD. So this can be relationship with your friends, families, intimate partners, past boyfriend or girlfriend, son, daughter, pets, strangers, anything. Remember, relationship OCD gives you the reason why we have themes. People ask, why do we even call it ROCD? It's because it can give some insight into where their fears lie, but we don't actually need to use that term. The second thing about ROCD is that it will convince you in a matter of seconds. I was on a call this morning with someone with ROCD. You can go from feeling like you're in love, the best feeling ever, to 25 seconds later, the thermostat is jacked up, that internal thermometer, because you heard a trigger or thought of something. That automatic rumination that is covered incorrectly in most videos. That process with ROCD where you go from feeling like you're in love to a minute later feeling like, oh, I never noticed that about them or her. They look so unattractive. That is automatic. You cannot bring that down without working on the core fear. If anyone is telling you that bringing rumination down is the number one way to attack OCD, they do not understand OCD at all. 0%. I have to be frank about that because it holds so many people back. We know it's the truth. OCD sufferers tend to understand this disorder better than anyone. And rumination, telling people to bring it down X amount a day, it's the number one thing. It's not. Rumination is primarily automatic. That's the ROCD example. Another one is you're on your wedding day, right? You're not fully recovered and you look at someone in the crowd and you're like, oh my God, am I more attracted to them? That is automatic. That's not outward analyzing, trying to figure something out. That is an automatic process. That is happening because the person is scared. It goes like this, in order. Fear, core fear, then it trickles down into compulsions, reassurance seeking, inventing, and avoidance behaviors, and then automatic intrusive thoughts, images, sensation, and urges, where you're either trying to figure it out, which is outward analyzing, or rumination. Now, outward analyzing and automatic rumination are intertwined, and there's no way to know what's what. Just having a good understanding of these symptoms of intrusive, say, urges or not feeling in love and all those other things are going to happen because you're scared is the main reason why you're experiencing them in the moments you don't want them to happen. Wedding days, birthday parties, all sorts of stuff like that. So having a 50% of the OCD recovery journey is understanding how OCD works. The reason why most people don't recover is not because they can't from a treatment resistance perspective. It's because they don't know how to apply the tools to their specific theme. And the other thing I wanted to talk about too is drop the term codependency. It's a junk term. I can look up 10,000 books with the word codependency. Look at the fear. What are you afraid of? Ready? People go into the codependency and the trauma. And no. You are scared of being alone. You are scared of other people leaving you. It's a fear. Simplify the fear. But I always tell people, if you cannot write your fear on a notepad like this, a sticky pad, that's not the fear. The fear is, I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid of being in the wrong relationship. Not this, and a venting compulsion, which many people miss. Rob and I have been having lots of talks with people with ROCD, new people coming in, and it's really unfortunate the advice they've been given by the so-called experts who do not understand ROCD whatsoever. It's not anyone's fault. It's not easy to understand and can come across as whining and can come across and, just know your true self. Just trust your gut. And we're going to go into all that stuff. Now, let's go into the meat and potatoes of this talk, which is, in my opinion, there's no universal definition of love, and it's pretty easy to break down. Your brain won't believe it right away because of the compulsions and avoidance behaviors, but look at time periods, like I said in the beginning of the video, cultural differences, upbringing, genetics, belief systems, all of that will intertwine and point you in the direction through primarily chance. So people say to me, I met someone and I saw the light on their face on the bus and I knew. That is pure chance and pure luck. There's no ways to substantiate that belief system of the one. The one is one of the main causes for problems in relationships, ROCD or not. Because when someone believes that they're supposed to be with the one and anything goes wrong, which it will, because you have two different people coming together for the better good of the relationship with pros and cons. There are certainly pros to being single, and there are certainly pros to not being in a relationship, and there are certainly pros to not being monogamous. But there's cons with all those as well, right? Being single, can do what you want, can leave the house, can have intimacy with whoever you want, no big deal. When people are intertwining with that and going, well, that's not the meaning of life. That's not your meaning of life. This is easy to break down. It's very clear to me because I have worked on this and these societal structure boundaries that hold people down. Now, I'm married. I love being married. I could choose to not be married, but I like the benefits of marriage. And we're going to talk about that as well. So remember, there's with love, no objective definition. It's all subjective from person to person to person. Trusting your gut. You can't trust your gut because your gut has been hijacked. It's easy. OCD nickname is the great mimicker. It will mimic anything, everything, anything you can think of. You could literally be about to do your vows on your wedding day and think, oh my God, they look so ugly. Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? OCD will convince you of anything. So getting comfortable with that discomfort and not needing to use self-reassuring statements in the moment is key. And I have a practical takeaway section at the back, which I'm adding into more of my videos, because I think a practical step-by-step, not in the simplicity of tips and tricks, but recapping the video is key. The one, here's a great way to break down that. Let's say you were born in a different area of the world, maybe in the Middle East from America, your one would be completely different. Or if I left Erica or she left me and I moved to Spain, I might find a new one. Maybe I've been there for 5 years. I could speak some Spanish. I get intertwined in the culture. Maybe I start a wine business and I meet someone in that business and then I think that that's the one. That's not how it works. People come together, in my opinion, out of pure chance and also the benefits of bringing those two people together, maybe only on one side, like an arranged marriage, or both sides. The main reason why people come together is mutual monetary gain. Mutual monetary gain. Whether you agree with that or not is not the point. It's just the truth of the world. If it wasn't, marry a homeless person. Nothing wrong with that, but go out and meet someone that, sits on the couch all day and doesn't make any money. Many people don't want that. Now there's many partners who don't work because they take care of the kids, and that's another big one as well. But money is one of the, in my opinion, it's the top one or two biggest reasons why people get together. The feelings of love are just as fleeting as the feelings of happiness, and you have to work towards those in a almost like a business setting way. It takes effort, compromise, vulnerability, putting yourself out there, saying when you're wrong. That was a hard one for me. And all these other things that we do that we just think are not that important, but they're really important. It's got a massive itch in my eye. And that's really key. Now, the other reason why there's no such thing as universal love is because you can go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be, and there's 1,000 videos of someone who's 17 years old talking about how they know you're junk, garbage, total junk. There is nobody who's never been married or in a relationship that's going to give substantially beneficial relationship advice from a practical sense. Just how the MBA at a business school who's never opened up a business and never had to fire someone face to face, never had to go through the trenches. They know the book stuff, and that's great, but they don't have the practical sense, and the practical sense rules in almost everything. Many people don't want to admit that because they have to take their ego away, and they have to accept that. That's just the truth. And that's another topic. I'm going to do that in a separate talk. Practical advice versus book advice, because there's a big difference in that. And many people are caught up on that, such as like, oh, exposures are the gold standard. Exposures are key and they're great. But after so many documentaries, if you're still stuck of being alone, no exposure is going to touch that. So many fears don't even need that many exposures. This isn't contamination OCD. It's not magical thinking where you have to bring down the rituals. I mean, we're talking about the fear of not being with someone, the fear of your partner leaving you. This needs unconditional self-like other acceptance. So again, talking about the superficial posts and all that stuff as well. And I want to give you, before I go into the last point, which is the recap, I want to talk about, in my opinion, truly for me, why I don't believe in love and why you'll never be able to find that love, like universal love. I obviously would imagine I love my wife. I can't prove that, nor will I ever be able to. Not because some guru told me these are the 6 signs to know you're in love. Nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. How do you know if a relationship is healthy? Keyword is healthy. Do you have decent compromise? Do you help each other out, maybe with household chores? Are you arguing a lot? Do you communicate effectively? Are you both bringing in money to the family? Are you both planning for your futures and retirement and investments? All these other things that actually require a plethora of work and discomfort. It's not just, I'm in love, I'm going to go on my way. An ROCD sufferer needs to get very, very comfortable with not feeling in love any place, anytime, anywhere, because it will convince you automatically that that's not the case. Okay, so the practical takeaway section, the reason why I've done this is when I was on the call with this person, she'll probably watch this. We were talking about our backgrounds in research, just in life, and talking about how sometimes the takeaways from a research study are just really funny because there's no practical takeaways. But this one, I wanted to start adding this. The first thing, you're never going to get certainty on love. So thinking that you can prove to yourself if they're the right person or not the right person will never be able to happen. You need to get comfortable with that. You have to bring down your compulsions and reassurance seeking and avoidance behaviors. The second thing, getting used to feeling confused. I always tell people, many people don't speak about the fear of feeling confused, but that's a very, very big fear. Am I with the right person? Do I love them? Do I not love them? Am I attracted to them? Should I have intimacy with them? Blah, 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 blah. Getting used to that, making behavioral changes, and assessing later on whether you thought that was a good idea. We're not saying that you're bound to be with this one person forever, but it's these immediate changes based on black and white emotions, because OCD sufferers humans are emotional in general and don't use logic a whole lot, but we're extra emotional and even decrease logic, but because of the nature of the disorder, but we can obviously recover from that because I'm a much more rational person, but I was very irrational. Working on the fear of not being in love and working on the fear of being in the wrong relationship. There's no such thing as the wrong relationship. You have two people that come together. Remember 3 minutes ago when I talked about all the things about compromise, bringing money together, sharing responsibilities? If those things are working in an unhealthy manner for long periods of time, then maybe the relationship is supposed to end in that regard. But overall, there's no such thing as, oh, that person's not compatible with me. I've heard all sorts of stuff. They're a Yankees fan and I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. Oh, they're from this country and I'm from this country. Oh, they're from that state and I'm from this state. Oh, they don't like this, I don't like that. But all of this nonsense, irrational beliefs that hold people back from trying experiences because they are afraid that things will go wrong. Things go wrong a lot more than they go right. Even the people that you look up to, relationships, money, spirituality, religion, anything, doesn't matter, business, things go wrong way more than they go right. And we've been sold that things are supposed to be lovey-dovey forever. And that is sad because it's nonsense. And the fourth thing is stop seeking reassurance. You got to stop asking your partner. The Instagram page with balance. Stop going to all these different YouTube channels and trying to prove whether you're in love. And then one more thing I didn't write on here is if you think by leaving the relationship that that's going to work for you, and you'll never know whether it's the right relationship or not. But if you think that that's going to be your answer, you'll leave, you'll get relief, and then it will latch onto your family or friends or the next relationship because you never worked on the core fear. Because you always are looking for certainty. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a really fun one to do. This one, again, was more about the practical breakdown philosophically of why I don't believe or why we don't believe in this universal principle of love or the universal principle of the right or wrong relationship. And it's super key to break this down. So remember, this is that book again. We have a lot of great webinars coming up. We actually have an intrusive sensation I believe it's Sensation and Urge webinar coming up, which we've never done. Work anxiety coming back in, ROCD, harm OCD, all the big ones. We just cycle those. We're at 1 a week. We'll probably get to 2 a week. We're going to other time zones. So New Zealand, Australians, China, other areas of the world. We're going to do these great webinars. We'll be in the middle of the day or at nighttime for you, early in the morning for me. That way we can reach all these different people. If you have any questions on webinar and coaching services, please email info@ocdrecovery.com and just ask and see what's going on. So hopefully I see you there. It was a really good video. I am married. I will never be able to get certainty on my marriage. I think I love my wife, but who knows? Can't get proven 100% certainty on that. We have disagreements. We have to come together, work on a relationship. I'm someone that's not very like a lovey-dovey person. I love her and I tell her I love her and I buy her flowers, but I don't need that, like hand-holding emotional time all the time, which we do see stereotypically between men and women, not always, not 100%. But I have to compromise and we have to spend time together and do all these other things because that's important for the relationship. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, have a great day.